Welcome to the April 16th Pathways virtual session. And today, what we're going to be putting the focus on will be what happens when you're a member of multiple clubs. And we'll talk about the meaning of your home club and when you may want to change your home club to a different club. We'll also go into completing projects outside of a Toastmasters setting or or perhaps in a different club that's outside of the club that you're typically a member of. So if you're a visitor at a different club, you can submit this particular form, call it an external request. And so we'll talk a little bit about that secondly. And starting off, we'll have Linda Waring that will cover what to do when you are in multiple clubs. All right, Linda?
Thank you, Marvin. About 5% of Toastmaster members belong to more than one club. The good news is that paths are assigned to individual members and they can be completed in any club. A member may complete any path in any club, and they may choose to work on a single path at two clubs at the same time, or they can work on two separate paths, or they could be doing the traditional program and pathways at the same time. So looking at you'd start by going to Basecamp, and where it says access my path through Basecamp, this is where you pick the club. My home club is Stately Speakers. So if I go to Stately Speakers, I log in as a member. I go to my profile up here. And I'll want to keep track of, the first thing is I'll want to keep track of, this is where it will show when I fulfilled goals such as general evaluator, grammarian, speech evaluator, timer, Toastmaster, and table topic master. These are some of the functions that you have to fulfill to reach a level 4. And to view that, you go to the little picture. But to change it, you hover over the gear button and go to My Account. And you go in and you change. You were the grammarian on April 3rd, for example, and you save it. Now your profile stays with you no matter which club you're going to give any distinguished club program credit to. So for example, each time you create a level in Basecamp, a request is sent to the Basecamp manager of your home club. And again, that would come, for me, it would go to Stately Speakers. And the Basecamp manager of Stately Speakers would validate the request, even if I didn't complete all the speeches in that level at my home club. And because club awards are submitted through Club Central, you can determine which club you'd like to receive credit for each level you finish. However, you need to communicate your request to the VPE of the club to which you'd like to apply the credit. So if I was getting ready to mark a credit, I would go back to Basecamp and go to my profile. Here's, you want to return to the Toastmasters Pathways page. I would go to my other club, which for me is Pathways Guides. and proceed to Pathways at logging in as a Pathways guide, which is my second club. And then going in to look at my profile, you can see that the credit I saved for myself for grammarian at Stately Speakers recorded here as under my Pathways club. So basically you need to let just as you've always been able to submit a completed project to the club of your choice, you can still do that. You just have to communicate with the VP, Vice President of Education in the club that you want to give credit to. And that's what I have, Marvin.
Perfect. So now we'll go ahead and move into the external training request. And when we think about the form that we're about to see, the external training request forms are completely optional. The main reason for them, the main reason why TI created these forms, was so that we have kind of a paper trail, so to speak, of where we completed projects from. So if you're outside of a club setting, there's a tool that you can use that will send a request over to your Basecamp manager, being your VPE, club president, or the secretary, and they'll get all the information related to where you're going to be giving the speech, what you're going to be giving the speech on, and the date that you're looking to complete the speech. There'll be that information that will be on the external request form, and they'll be able to receive that, approve it, and then it will be added on to your educational transcript. And we can go ahead and see how that works here. So if you wanted to create an external training request, you go into your educational transcript. Then you'll see these little dots here. This will be the options. So you click on the options, and then you'll have the first option here, add the external training. So you'll click on that, and this will be the external training request form. You'll see on the top, you can type in a brief description of your project. This will typically be the name of the project. This is how it's going to appear on your transcript. So we can just do the evaluation and feedback for an example. And then you'll describe your plan of completing the assignment, which could be, you can use as much detail as you would like. It could be related to where you're going to be giving the speech, where you're going to give it at, or some other details related to what will lead up to the completion of your speech can all go into this description. And we'll just type in going to give presentation at Twin Lakes Toastmasters Club. So that would be how I plan on completing this presentation. Then it'll specify who you will present or work with. So I can just say Twin Lakes Toastmasters Club. And then you'll indicate the completion date, which we'll start it here for today's purpose. We'll just go ahead and end it as of today. And then you'll select your path. So I'm going to select Visionary Communication. The project that I am doing, it's in alphabetical order here. Evaluation feedback. You can select the location. In this case, it's going to be in a club other than my home club, so that's what I'll select. If it was at your workplace or at some other type of conference, you can put outside of Toastmasters. But if it's in a Toastmasters club, you can just put in a club outside of my home club. If there are any attachment files to add that are related to your project or event. It could be the agenda of the event. If it's at a workplace, maybe there's an agenda that you want to attach to your external training request. You can upload the file by clicking that and then searching for your file to attach it to this request. And then you'll go ahead and click on submit. And that will automatically send an email out to your Basecamp managers from whom you've set up as your home club. Then it'll show up on your transcript. You'll see the evaluation feedback, that the external training request that we just submitted. It'll say pending approval. Then once it is approved, it'll show up like this, where it will, well, this one's also pending approval. So this is another test that I was doing previously. And once it's approved, then it will be, the status will change from pending completion approval to being approved. And that will be how you can submit an external training request, and then you'll be able to complete it just like you'll be able to mark complete on any other project. But this is a completely optional thing. It's just a tool that can be used to simplify how you are completing speeches outside of your club. So that way you'll have a paper trail of where you made the speeches and the dates that you made them and any other details that you want to include in those requests. And that will be submitting the external training request. So for today, we just went over what it means to set your home club, as well as submitting the external training request and why those can be submitted. And of course, if there are any further questions, you can certainly go ahead and funnel those off to us, and we can go ahead and get those answered as quickly as possible. And Linda, do you have any other things that you might want to add?
Not at this time.
Oh, perfect. And are there any questions? Perfect. And great. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, everyone. Take care. Thanks. Appreciate it.